In this video, I will explain how to write a script that arranges objects along a spline. I've already written it, so I'll be glancing at another screen to see how I did it. Let's start writing like this. It's better to start with a capital letter. I'll delete the unnecessary line, otherwise you might find out about the lifeboat later. Press enter and start typing. Actually, in Threads Max, it doesn't matter whether you write the name of the modifier with a capital or lowercase letter. But, out of habit, I write with a capital letter. This line here will add the array modifier to our selected object in the scene, making it possible to duplicate the object in a controlled way. This next line will specify exactly which modifier we're currently working with, so that the script knows what to focus on. Here, it clearly says array, which tells us that the array modifier is the one being referenced. Why do we need to specify which modifier we're working with in the code? The reason is that you might have several different lines, like this. For example, each one dealing with a different modifier or property. And here you'll have here modifier, which helps keep everything organized and ensures the correct modifier is being used at each step. You don't need to write modifier here. Here it, and here it. If you don't write this part and just do it like this, it won't understand you. Which modifier exactly do you want? Which one do you specifically want to work with? That's why you need to add something like array to specify that you want to work with array. I'm not going to add a modifier here for no reason, so I'll erase this and write it here. Period. Type 2. So now the array modifier will select type number 2 for us. If we hadn't written this, it would have already arranged our objects, but not along the spline, of course, just along the x-axis. So over there, we change this to 2. Now it will arrange things along our spline. 2 is the method for arranging along the spline. Still need to write some more here. I just wrote s.modifier I wrote s.modifier. That's incorrect. I should have used the $sign. So modifier. Where's our lump? And array. We open it, type dot, reference spline. And now we enter the name of our line in the designated field. For this demonstration, mine is called line number 1. You can see how I type it in. Just like this. Notice that I start with a capital letter. It's always better to write names with a capital letter because it helps keep things organized and makes them easier to read, especially when you have many objects in your scene. For example, you could also name it line example or main path, but always remember to use a capital letter at the beginning. The name field here allows up to 150 characters, so you have plenty of space to be descriptive if you need to. Here, I'll write the name carefully, making sure there are no typos. You don't have to write this name again for other points, you can simply copy it to save time and ensure consistency. And now, in this field, write 0. This value shifts our object up along the z-axis, which is the vertical direction in 3D space.
However, for our purposes, we don't need any vertical shift, so we'll set this parameter to 0, or you can just delete it entirely if you prefer.
This is important because sometimes the V-ray modifier might have been set up earlier with a different value, and we want to make sure our object stays exactly where we want it. Double checking these parameters helps avoid unexpected results later on. Let's say, for example, you've already copied your object, applied V-ray to it, and configured it. Then, if you leave or delete any parameter here, it will inherit the settings from the configured one. I'm saving all the settings here. That's why I'll write pos 0 equals 0, because we don't need any movement along the z-axis. And if it's already preset, our script will simply ignore it, move on, and set it to 0. Let's write this code together step by step, making sure we understand each part as we go. With this command, modifiers err and count x. What does this command do? It sets the number of objects along a certain axis, in this case along the x-axis. Well, we just have a spline, even though it sees it, its own count is set in the x parameter. There's nothing you can do about it here. But if you have two splines, let's say like these, and you have the indicator set to in this section, then this one goes along the y-axis, and it will add the y-axis and that one to the x-axis. Consider this as 1. Think of it as 1 and 2. 1 and the next one, for example, if you have a second spline, that's 2. But don't forget, don't write it like I just showed, just 1. Write x and y. I think that should be fine for us. Let's start writing our path, more for the trees. Just like that. This is a marker note that this is where the tree section begins. You can write anything you want. For example, like this, then like this, then like this. Or something like this. And anything at all. You can even write in any symbols you like. A dash means a comment. There are brackets here. Well, you get the idea. Let's start writing. So what's this? These are coordinates. Let's copy our own piece. But we'll copy not everything, just up to the point. Let's start by using the copy-paste function to duplicate our content. After that, we will proceed to write in this section, carefully entering the necessary information. Specifically, I am going to demonstrate how to set the scale so that it does not equal 2, making sure to show each step clearly. I also noticed something here, that we wrote the letters incorrectly. We need to write E, here, he, R. Let's even use this one here. Let's write no. 2 by 3 R. Of course here there is a 3 present. But we'll select everything we need. No. Fine. Next. This one. Replay. Don't replay. Surely here he isn't going to search through the comments. Let's open it and change. We already changed it here. That's it. We've changed what we needed to. Let's specify the value for the size that the cube will be set to. 106. And originally it was 140. I don't remember its exact size. So let's write it like this. I can copy that part. I carefully copy, then simply paste, add a period, and write. Spline scale Z equals exactly 106. 106. Now we can run it. Just need to write 0.0. Now they'll be set to different sizes. Let's make sure to select our cube. Let's name it, say, box, and run it. Evaluate. Everything has been placed. Of course, let's change our quantity to 10. There's just too many of them. Let's run it again. That's already more reasonable. Let's set not 10, let's say 6. Stopped. That's fine now. Click, click, click. Some are lower, some are higher. Let's set not 106, but say 83. Let's delete the array and restart. There we go. Now the difference is more clearly visible. This is how they're arranged. And with this method, you can arrange not only our cubes, but for example, anything you want. Let's make a long spline, for instance. Let's add some points to it. Let's move it over. And let's create the object we want to arrange. And let's say we want to arrange teapots. And let's name our line. Actually, we don't even need to name it. It already has a name, right? Let's run it. We can see that our teapots have been placed without any issues. And our listener isn't giving any errors. Everything is fine. And we can also move it later, and the teapot will move along with our spline.